Good morning. My name is Sebastian Duerr, and I'm presenting the literature review on persuasive natural language generation that I wrote together with Professor Peter Gloor from MIT in Boston in Q4 2020 and the beginning of 2021. We presented at Persuasive 2021 under PT21 as a submission number. The literature review is already published and can be found behind the link in the upper left corner. In order to conduct our literature review, we used the method von Brocke et al. 2009, which distinguishes the approach into these 5 different steps. We will go through them in the course of this short presentation of the poster. However, I'd like to highlight that I will quickly skim through some concepts, and since I'm recording this, the listener is asked to please pause and read if you want to go into more detail. Also, the submission of the article can always be used as a reference in order to follow up on concepts presented here. First, we have the review scope, and we decided, as highlighted, to go for a conceptual review and to cover a representative amount of literature in order to identify determinants that drive persuasiveness. Before, however, and during the process of identifying determinants, we went to find a business framework, and we identified these 4 theories in which we clustered the different aspects identified in the business framework, and that we then consecutively used in order to classify our identified determinants that have an impact on persuasion. However, with this business framework in mind, we went through the following list of journals, which consists mainly of psychology and computer science outlets. As you can see in the domain in the second color, we read through and scanned the abstracts, and we identified relevant articles towards persuasive natural language generation using the search terms that are listed on the right side of the slide. For instance, NLP, NLG, AI, persuasion, convincing, and negotiation. Next, we classified and categorized all the identified determinants out of the literature outlets or academic outlets you've just seen. And we came up with these 4 categories, which are benevolence, linguistic appropriacy, logical argumentation, and trustworthiness. And all these determinants, the number is being presented on the right, were categorized into these. Additionally, since we're talking about persuasive NLG, which is supported by obviously computational power, we also identified tools and datasets that we, the authors, identified as relevant to persuasion and NLP and NLG. Which led us to the final step of the von Brocke 2009 framework, which is the research agenda. And here we clearly stated that with our identified determinants and the relevant tools and datasets, we have to first figure out what actually designates a persuasive artificially generated message, which leads us to our first research proposal to define that. The second one is, how should such determinants be implemented in order to score a persuasive NLG AI that is truly persuasive? And lastly, which tools and datasets are most relevant in order to approach specifically a deep learning training or deep learning approach towards persuasive NLG. There are some limitations and conclusions as with every research. In brief, we know that as this recording is being filmed in April, and this is a very hot topic, we know that there are additional articles published in the meantime. And we also used forward and backward search in order to identify relevant literature. nor is there a guarantee that our framework will succeed. Yet we are fully aware that all these identified variables may not also be comprehensive enough to conduct a persuasive scenario. And we are aware that there would not ever be a one-size-fits-all approach, since there are very many different persuasion scenarios. Yet our research agenda will help potentially you and us in order to conduct future research on persuasive NLG in order to arrive at or to identify what persuasive NLG can do for humans. So we conclude that if you combine, though, the right determinants out of those that we identified in specific context and with the right usage of tools available, you, through the power of deep neural nets, or we will be able to create persuasive NLG. And the next steps definitely involve implementing such a persuasive NLG. Here you see a very complex slide, which briefly means that you have a draft to a persuader in the lower left, and you have a description of the persuadee, the person that you try to convince in order to help you. And on the right side, you see an augmented or transformed draft of the persuader that will be more persuasive according to the determinants we identified. And the little boxes, the colorful ones in between, show how AI can help with achieving this. Currently, we're implementing this and a very advanced version of such a persuasive NLG, and our prototype is already up and running. The next step is testing it with humans. So these were the quick insights into the natural language processing or natural language generation in the context of persuasion. I really hope that I sparked your interest. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. My name is Sebastian Duerr, and I'm the main author of this literature review. However, I was supported by Professor Peter Globe from MIT in Boston. And right now I'm working on this persuasive natural language generation with my fellow friends Teddy Lange and Zizek Herod in implementing it. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak at this conference, and all the best that this Corona year will turn out greater than the last one ended. Take care. Bye-bye.